Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes.
Hey guys, Amber here with a Meeple family, and I am going to be doing a quick how to play a flower field. I absolutely love this game, and on the channel you can also find a solo playthrough. I will link it down in the description for you as well, but let me show you how to play this adorable tile laying game. The game comes with 4 player boards. Just keep in mind, these are all identical, and the most important thing is when you play, you're going to see that there are 4 dots, 1 dot, 2 dot, and 3 dot. The most important thing is to make sure that all players have these oriented in the same way. Meaning, for our 2-player game, if I go ahead and put this one down, and my 3 dots are at the bottom, my opponent is going to want to do the same. All right, the other thing that both players will get at the start of the game is 5 bees. Now, I'm going to show you all the different ways that these bees play a part in the game, and there are several. They're basically the currency as well as unlocking the ability for your different color areas to score points, but we'll go through that in just a moment. So this is called the field board, and we're actually going to place these small flower tiles on that. I've gone ahead and shuffled those up, so we're just going to randomly place out 4 on the available spaces. And again, this is just for game setup as well as refreshing the round. And we're going to put 2 bees from the supply into the center area here. Let's go ahead and set these multipliers here, and we will move the score pad for now. We'll come back to that in a moment. All right, for a 2-player game, we're going to put out 8 flower tiles around our field board. Okay, and we will set aside our token bag, and we will use that at the round end. So let's go over what you can do on your turn. So during your turn, you're going to have to take one of 4 actions. The first thing you can do is take 1 flower tile from the circle to place right onto your garden board. Now, if I want to take the flower tile that is right next and in front of clockwise order to the sun token, it doesn't cost me anything. But maybe I want this tile instead, so I will simply leap over that tile, but I have to place a bee on it. Now, you can do this as many times as you want, as long as you have the bees to pay for it. Now, once you've selected your tile, it must be placed on your garden board following pretty normal tile placement rules. If the tile you place has a bee space, which this one doesn't, but let's say we took one like this, you can also immediately perform a place 1 bee in your garden action. This is a really important part of the game, but we'll break that down in just a moment. Let's get back to placing this tile. When it comes to placing our first tile, it actually has to be on one of these foundation spaces on the bottom of the board. So as long as it's touching one of these spaces at the bottom, I can place it any way I like, covering up any icons that are already here. Now, some of these icons are really important because they're going to give us more bees at the end of the round during the bee income phase. Basically, the way this works is you count up all the hives that are on your board minus the spider webs. This number is going to be the amount of bees you're able to give yourself as bee income. Now let's get back to the actions we can do. So we know that we can take tiles and pay bees for tiles we want to skip. The other thing we can do is take 2 bees from this field here. So if this player wanted to, get a few more bees, they could simply take these 2 bees as their turn. The other thing you can do is take one of these small flower tiles from the field, and in order to do this, you'll pick the tile, and you're gonna see 2 little bee outlines here. That's right, you gotta pay 2 bees to get that tile. Now from here on, we have to make sure that all of our other tiles touch, so we are gonna put this right here. Now, as you notice, I'm gonna be able to activate that place 1 bee in your garden because the bee tile I placed has that bee outline on it, and we'll get into why this is so important in just a moment. The last option you have to do on your turn is to place 1 bee in your garden. So we gave an example right here where I was able to fill this in immediately when I placed it. But what if I had no bees when I placed that tile? Well, on a subsequent turn, I could, when I've acquired more bees, place a bee there as my full action. Now, strategically, it obviously makes sense that when you bring a tile onto your board that has one of these outlined bees, you're gonna wanna make sure that you have a bee to put on it. And the reason is because you're gonna have to take 2 separate actions instead of just the one doing it when you place it. So just to review those 4 different actions, you can obviously take a tile, and if you don't like the first tile you see, that's okay. As long as you have bees to skip over and pay for the tile that you want. You can also pay 2 bees and take one of these small flower tiles, or for your entire turn, just take 2 bees from the field token in the middle. And for that last option, if you have a tile on your board that doesn't have a bee on it, you can go ahead and take your turn to fill that in. Now this game is so simple. When all these tiles are gone from the board, we're simply going to clear out the remaining tokens here on the field tile, replace them with new ones, make sure we have those 2 bees in the center, and lastly, set up our tiles again. Remember, for a 2-player game, it's 8 tiles. Then each player is going to look at their board, and remember, we're going to count the hives, subtract the webs, and that number is going to be our bee income. Now, for the scoring, let's quickly look at the score pad. The important thing to remember with how the scoring works is there are 4 colors that we're going to be interacting with throughout the game. Blue, orange, and red are all going to score on your board for the largest group of that area that you have. So for instance, if I have this orange section here, and an orange section here, only the largest one is going to score for each color. Also, in order to score, each color has to have a bee. Now, if you're in a position where you can add more bees to that colored section, well, it's only going to multiply your score. Now, in order to add a bee to a section, you have to pay for the bees that are already in the section. So for this example, I already have 1 bee in this orange section, so I would pay 1 bee, and then play 1 bee. Now later, if I could afford it, I could add another section with a bee. For this one, I'd have to pay 2 bees in order to play 1 bee. But let's look at how these score. The interesting thing about these tiles is that some of them, like this, have kind of this open section in the middle, meaning that it scores just as 1 section. While other tiles like this have divisions in them. This one would be 3 separate sections. When we're scoring, we're counting up the sections. So for this orange, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 3 bees. Well, that's 15 points. And then we'd move to the next color. Let's say we're going to score blue. Blue is going to give us 1, 2, 3 points, because we only have 1 bee. And you would do the same for red. Now, the white is a little different. This is one you don't have to have a bee on, but you're still only going to score your biggest grouping. So let's count that up for this player over here. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep in mind that those pre-printed ones do count, so count those up too. Remember, the white ones don't need bees. We wouldn't be able to count this one or this one because they're not connected. Lastly, we're going to be able to score completed columns and rows. So if you have a full column or row, they're each worth 5 points. So for this example, they would have 5 in a column and 5 points for a row. This game is played over 3 seasons. After that 3rd season, you're going to count up your score and see who won. That's a quick look at how to play Flower Fields, one of my favorites right now. Check out my solo play down below, see if it's a good fit for your gaming table. See you guys next time.
You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down.